Morning, the Committee on Parole is called to order today. It's Thursday, March 30th, 11:48 a.m. My name is Brendan Kelsey. Along with me is Ms. Cheryl Renata. Mr. Alvin Roche will be your panel. Staff support seated at DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge. Our remote location is LaFourche Jail with staff support. Please introduce yourself.
Hold on.
There you are.
Sergeant Anthony Adams.
Sergeant Adams. All right, Sergeant. Ready for our first case. Please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record.
Charles Douglas Mouton, my DOC number 111005.
11-10-05. All right.
Sir.
Mr. Mouton, you heard the introduction. We'll have a parole interview. Ask you some questions. You can respond at the end. You can make a statement. We'll take a vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Charles Mouton, DOC number 111005, 7th class offender, parole eligibility date 4/18/2023, good time 7/7/2023, full term 4/19/2032, 12-year sentence. Simple burglary, illegal possession of stolen things, 6 count simple burglary. Does that sound correct?
I just believe it's just simple burglaries.
Yes. Well, they have simple burglary, 2 counts, illegal possession of stolen things, and a simple burglaries. And you were revoked in 2021. Does that kind of sound correct?
Oh, correct, sir.
Okay. And we do have Miss Kathy LaFourche, who will speak at the appropriate time, and Barbara Mouton, who will speak at the appropriate time. Would you answer Mr. Rose's questions, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Mouton.
How you doing?
Good, Mr. Mouton. I'm going to enter some information into the record, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do at the end of the hearing, okay? Mr. Mouton, you call it 56 years old, am I correct?
You 56.
Oh, 56, yes, sir.
Okay, and you've been convicted of 7 felonies, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I see where you have a adjusted good time date of July 7th, 2023, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's less than 3 months after your parole date, is that correct?
Yes,
The
sir.
parole date on April 16, 2023, which is less than 3 months before your good time date.
Yes, sir.
And because of your extensive criminal history, you've been convicted of 7 felonies, been arrested 44 times, you've been on supervision on 5 different occasions, and 4 of those occasions, you've been revoked because you had convicted of another felony. You've expressed opposition from the DA's office, law enforcement, and multiple victims are adamantly opposed to your release. You have a high risk assessment, which tells this panel you have a high chance of reoffending. Based on all of that information, I think it's best that you parole out on your good time date instead of your parole date, because of your extensive criminal history and very poor supervision history, which makes you a very high risk on supervision. You understand what I just said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Chairman.
All right, we're here for Miss Barbara Mouton. Miss Barbara, would you like to make a statement? Hey, go ahead and put your, take your mute off. Good.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. Now go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I miss my husband. I miss my husband, yes, and he's a very good he's a good man to me and the kids and his grandkids.
All right, well, thank you so much for your comment. I appreciate that. Now we're here from Miss Kathy LaFourche.
The first thing I want to tell Mr. Charles is thank you for not,
Speak to us, speak directly to us.
I can't thank him for something.
Hey, speak directly to the board, no ma'am.
Okay,
You can tell him you'd like to thank you for something. Tell us though. Tell us and he'll see it.
okay. I want to thank him when he took a box from my house. He emptied the box and in there was something that was very valuable to me. When I go to funerals, I keep the prayer cards, and every time I'm lonely or something, I'll take them out and look at them. And when he took the box, he left that on a chair and he didn't take them. And that really made me feel good.
Okay.
And when he stole and he was arrested, he had 2 watches, but when he left our house, he had 3. The one that was not on his arm in my son's house was the one his father gave my husband, and I'm wondering where it was.
Okay.
This is what he used on my house. He first used it to get in the door, tried to get in the door, but he broke this, so he wasn't able to get in that door. He went on the carport and he hit another door and it opened it, but he closed it softly where if he'd have come back, he could have opened it. Then he went on another porch and he took this and used it's a bar, it's French doors, and he used it to pull that bar off where he could see this. And we don't use that porch. If I had not had the camera, I would have not known that the door looked locked on the inside, but all he had to do was pull it. Then he used this part to go to another door, and he broke the glass, put his hand in, unlocked it, and tried to push that door open. He couldn't get in because there was a wooden drafting table that he couldn't push. He jumped off the porch, went on the side, and I would assume he used this to break the window, because then when I came home, this was on my sofa. So I guess he used this to break the window to come in my house.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm not going to talk about my son's house. He went there after.
Yes, ma'am.
So we know he's in jail, but we didn't know that he came out. Then my son is sitting under his carport. It's dusk, you still can see, and someone's in his backyard. And he looks, and when he sees he's trying to pull the pressure washer out the shed, my son yells at him and he runs out of my son's yard. This is all right by my house. We all live.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And he runs, and my son realizes he's not going to catch him, but he knew someone on Gabardine Street that had a camera, and the camera showed him Mr. Charles running.
And we have all, yes, ma'am, we have all that information in the docket for sure. So go ahead, you can wrap up while you're on. Yes, ma'am.
I just want Charles to stay away from my family and myself. I've been going through this. I can't, there's other things I could tell you.
Yes,
I've
ma'am.
just been going through it, and I just want to be free of the worry of Charles Mouton.
All right. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you for your comment. Charles, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
I'm gonna apologize to Miss Kathy, But I think this incident happened in 2009, and I was not identified as a light-skinned person that is described in the video.
Sure. All right.
I think this
Go ahead and
incident-
you make a statement of why you'd like to get out. I mean, go ahead and tell us that. That's what we're here for.
I miss my family and stuff, and I still got my job offered to me through work release and stuff, and I apologize to the community, and I miss my wife and my grandkids. That's, and I
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Thank you so much for your comments. Panel prepared to vote, Mr. Roche?
Yes, Ms. Mouton, based upon a terrible supervision history, you've been revoked on 4 different occasions, extensive criminal background, a 7th felony offender, a very high risk assessment, express victim opposition in the proximity of your good time date. My vote is to deny your request, and you will be getting out in July.
Okay, Ms. Renata.
Mr. Mouton, also based on victim opposition and the high risk score, my vote today is to deny. You have a good time.
And I also vote to deny based on victim opposition, law enforcement opposition, and proximity to get the full-term date, a good time date. 3 votes to deny. Today, your parole has been denied. We'll adjourn at 11:59. And LaFourche, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's kind of like a strange hearing. I mean, right off the get-go, we knew that he was going to get denied, but he's getting out in 3 months in July anyways. And I think it was for his benefit. I'm not 100% sure. If someone can please comment, but I believe that it's really in his best interest. What Mr. Roche did is, like, if they had granted him, he'd be under parole supervision, which Mr. Roche didn't want him to fail. And now he's not going to have any of those requirements or restrictions. So it's like he's trying to increase the chance that he just won't screw up. And it was, I think, the best thing as far as he's concerned. The victim impact statement was just kind of like out of right field. She starts with saying, "Thank you for leaving the picture, the funeral card." And I thought, wow, this is like, what a breath of fresh air. How amazing and thoughtful that someone, we have seen it once before where a victim came on to speak in positive note about the perpetrator. But then it like went into this whole story. What I think she was alluding to is that he had broken into the house, but like set up the door, broken in, but then softly closed it so he could sneak back in, and then broke in from a different location where he didn't have to because he could have gone in. I was confused where she was going, and then saying that he had come, then robbed her son's house, and then came back a second time.
All right, Committee on Parole is called to order
Let's go
today,
to the
12:01,
list.
Thursday, March 30th. My name is Brendan Kelsey, be chair. Along with me is Ms. Cheryl Renata, Mr. Alvin Roche will be your panel. We have a parole revocation hearing. Staff and support is seated at DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge. Our remote location is Assumption. Is anybody in there with you? Any staff or support in there with you? Push you all mute. Would staff and support please introduce yourself?
Deputy Darla Talbot.
Okay, all right. Ready for our first case, please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record.
Charles Farrer, my DOC number is 593-784.
All right, Charles, we're here for parole revocation hearing. I'll ask you some questions. I'll ask you some rule violations. You can plead guilty, not guilty, guilty with a statement, or not guilty with a statement. We'll ask some questions. You can respond to make a statement. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Can you read and write?
Yes, sir.
Do you see a parole revocation questionnaire in front of you or not?
Sir?
Do you have a parole revocation questionnaire in front of you?
No, sir.
Okay, we're gonna put it on the screen for you. Okay, did you see that? Is that your signature at the bottom?
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll proceed. Charles Fair, DOC number 593784. Rule number 4, you were arrested on or about 10/10/2022 for domestic abuse, battery, child endangerment, felony. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. All right. Number 10, you have following arrearages. Supervision fees, $819, 0 payments made to date. Processing fee, $65. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. All right. Would you answer Ms. Renata's questions, please?
All right, Mr. Fair, tell us about, number 10, your fees. According to our records, you could make any payments at all.
I couldn't hear you because it was echoing.
According to our records, you have not paid any fees, any payments. You paid no payments. You pled not guilty.
Oh, I misunderstood him. I'm guilty of that because I ain't never made no payments.
Wow.
All right, like I talked to my parole officer and he was like, asked him like what I was supposed to get out like on March 1st of 2023. And I was like, y'all can add it up and I'll pay everything then. And he was like, yeah, so that's why I never made the payment, but I ended up coming to jail.
All right, so then tell us why you came to jail. You were arrested for domestic abuse battery.
Yeah, it was
Tell us
like,
about the incident.
all right. I never put my hands on him. It was an argument. It had a fair at the school, the Cali school, and I give her some money for to give me some crawfish stew and alligator. And when she came to pick me up, she didn't have it, and we had like an argument. And when we got to the house, I left. But her sister called the police, and that's when they arrested me, saying that I put my hands on her. But when my parole officer came to talk to me, and the other parole officer came, she came to the jailhouse and talked to him too, and she told him that she overreacted and that didn't never happen. And when we went to the court, at the court, she came to court and told him that she overreacted, you know what I'm saying, that never happened. And it was like, if anything, if I got arrested, I should have got arrested for like disturbing the peace or something, but I shouldn't have had a domestic charge. So, and that's
She had injury.
ma'am.
She had injury that was consistent with her story.
So they were and do in court, they were supposed to throw the charges out, but they dropped it to a misdemeanor. And I go back to court May 1st for the charges for them to throw it out.
Well, how long you been in jail?
I've been in jail 6 months.
And what's your relationship with Ms. Thibodeau?
That was my girlfriend. We have kids together.
Y'all still are in a relationship?
No, ma'am. And I still my auntie, and me and her just co-parenting and stuff. And I happen to be over there because my little girl asked me to come over. So
You share one child with her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. I understand that the Thibodeau did, or the charges were dropped to misdemeanor charges, but your story is not consistent to what I'm seeing in the record and testimony by some of the juveniles who were present.
Would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
Yeah, that's my statement. Like, that was really happening. It was an argument over some food, and I left. I ain't never put my hands on him, man. I knew it was consequences. I knew I was on papers. I was supposed to get out on March 1st, so I wouldn't get in no trouble. I was staying to myself. Only thing I was trying to do would be a supportive father to my kids. That's all. I wasn't going to no clubs. I wasn't doing nothing illegal. I was just following the rules. I'm heartbroken right now that I missed my opportunity on March 1st to getting off parole. behind some foolishness that I didn't have nothing to do with.
All right, thank you. Now prepare to vote, Ms. Renata.
Now, I find, Mr. Fair guilty of violating condition number 4. Condition number 6 up to date.
Mr. Roche.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Fair,
Yes, sir.
based on the evidence that was presented, I find guilty violating condition number 4, and you pled guilty to condition number 10. Therefore, I'm going to revoke your supervision.
All right, you
So,
have 2 votes to revoke. I also am going to vote to revoke your parole for the same reason. Say the 3 votes to revoke. Today your parole's been revoked. Good luck to you. It's 12:08. We'll adjourn at Assumption. Thank you.
so I have a question for y'all before y'all go.
What you got?
So my parole is my parole till 2026. How much time I have to do?
Oh, they'll get with you and let you figure it out. We don't figure out time. They'll let you know.
You'll be able to reapply for another hearing.
Yeah, you'll be able to
Before then.
reapply. All right. Good luck to you.
He seemed to take that pretty well, actually. It was nice that they responded. You know, a lot of times they'll ask the question, how much more time do I have? And they just won't respond at all. There was one time when they said that the guy had like 20 something years more. And it was like, what? He was completely surprised, but some people thought that he was acting surprised about finding out he had 20 more years. Yeah, there's not much to talk about in this case, really. I mean, it's just terrible. It's sad to do that, like they said, in front of the kids. And it's like, you're out on parole to just control yourself. I really just can't feel bad for, it's like, it's sad, but I don't feel bad for him. I feel bad for his kids that had to witness it and whoever it is that he hurt. But to talk about the previous case, yeah, that was interesting. It's like he got a pretty big sentence for being like an habitual like thief. And then he's fortunate enough to be on work release. I don't know how much he was making, but we have seen people on work release make almost $100,000 a year. Just don't know what kind of job he had or has. And yeah, the victim impact statement was it was totally not something I was expecting. I wonder why she brought up like to say thank you and then to go into explaining those different scenarios, but then also hearing about the, you know, he's even though it was like a decade ago, she seems to be totally still traumatized by it. And and it's interesting. I said this before. My grandfather and grandmother. My grandmother passed away, but my grandfather, 93 years old, is still kicking it, fully there, cognitively and physically. And they had left their home. They lived in a gated community in Florida, right? Kind of like the typical grandfather thing, and seems to be totally safe. It's gated. And they left for like 20 minutes, just 20 minutes. They went to like their local center to get the mail. They came back, and their home was broken into and everything was stolen. I mean, it was all their heirlooms, like my inheritance, right? Like 150-year-old jewelry, you know, all that stuff. And my takeaway from it was how amazing it was. They didn't let it bother them. I never heard them mention it more than one time. And they just said it happened. And so that was my, something that I learned from. It's like you can let it just affect you and eat away at you, and or you can make the conscious decision to say, you know what, it happened. I'm just going to get over it. I don't know if I'd be able to do what my grandparents did, making that conscious decision. I haven't been put in that place. But I would like to think that I would be able to. I'm not judging her, but I'm just sharing my experience. I do have a childhood memory when I was like 7 years old of coming home with my family and discovering that we had been robbed. And maybe I was even 6. And I have very few childhood memories, but that's one of them, and it's very vivid. So, apparently it must have been traumatic that I would still remember it very clearly to this day. But then, like, it was interesting. His response was, "It wasn't me on the camera," and I wonder if it was or wasn't. Who knows? He seemed pretty aggravated about it. I think it probably was him, but who knows? Anyways, for his sake, hopefully he stays out and keeps his hands off of other people's stuff. And anyways, with that, I'll let you go. And if you have any stories that you can share about theft and how you've handled it, please put it in the comment section. And I'll talk to you later.